FM HD2, New York.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Thursday, January 29th, 2026. Me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement. The fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. And we start out where a lot of people that do this job don't like to start out. But I'm very, very comfortable in my own skin. I am not one of these people or these talk show hosts that make outrageous statements, and then when it doesn't happen, they act like they never said it, and they move on to the next thing. No. I'll take ownership. Yesterday, I said that if I was a betting man, I would take the Toronto Raptors giving 1.5 to the Knicks. I figured the Knicks would not have Mitchell Robinson. Turned out to be right. I didn't figure that they wouldn't have Deuce McBride. That was announced before the game. I didn't even figure that Jalen Brunson was under the weather and ill, but still played. And Josh Hart, his ankle was barking a little bit, and he still played. So the fragile nature of betting, I don't know how people do it. I mean, FanDuel is one of our big sponsors on the show, and I love them for that. But you've got to have a lot of disposable income and cubes of steel to bet. Because to me, yesterday was one of the best bets that I would ever see. I thought it was a layup. And I was watching the game with my son, and I told him that. He said, well, why would you pick against the Knicks? I thought you liked the Knicks. I said, it's not that. I just feel that there's no way they're going to win. Second game of a back-to-back, getting into the hotel at 3 a.m. Everything was against them. Everything. And then the first quarter, I sat there kicking myself. Well, why don't you bet? Why don't you use that big, fat, long head of yours and make some money? And then it all fell apart. Or came together if you're a Knicks fan. The Knicks were down by 12 in the first half. And then they took off. And it looked like Toronto was standing still. It was embarrassing what the Knicks did to Toronto on Toronto's own floor. In the second half, the Knicks outscored the Raptors 72-41. 72-41, and they end up winning 119-92. Mikal Bridges, who's been asleep, ends up having a great game. He scored 19 of his 30 points in the third quarter, where the Knicks just ran away. Bridges, 12 of 15 from the field. Combination of Bridges and OG, 56 points. OG had 6 steals, 7 deflections defensively. Once again, Cat did not do much offensively, pulled down a lot of rebounds. Now, I'm not going to celebrate that because the Raptors have a really small team. Really small team. And he took advantage of it and pulled down, I think it was 22 rebounds. Good for him. Somehow the Knicks didn't just win. They annihilated Toronto. And you could hear the Toronto crowd at Scotiabank. They were stunned. I was stunned. I could not believe what was unfolding. And it shows you why it's so perilous to bet. You think you know something. You think it's a sure thing. And boom. The Knicks just run away. And I was wrong. And anybody who followed what I said, I told you, don't bet. I did say that. I apologize. And if I had to do it all over again, I'd give you the same advice. Because to me, the Knicks have not been playing that great. They beat a bad Nets team. Then they almost gave away a game in Philly, which they won, which was a nice win. 72-72 after 3 at the Garden against Sacramento. And they pull away in the fourth quarter to win. And then yesterday, so you look up, and the Knicks have won 4 in a row. Have they solved all their problems? I don't think so. But this team does have grit to it. They have some determination. I give them credit. And because of having 2 guys not playing in Mitchell Robinson and Deuce McBride, Mike Brown had to go deeper into his bench. All of a sudden, there was Kolek again. He was able to play. So, bottom line is, the Knicks get a victory I never thought they'd get. I thought the 1.5 was so low. And I thought that the Raptors were in by 10 to 15 points. And they end up losing, let's do the math here, by 27. Go figure sports. Go figure. I can't. When you think you know, you don't. When you think you're sure of something, you're not. When you think you have all the answers, you don't. So I try the best I can. And as I've told you, I don't say things just to say them for reaction. I thought there was no way the Knicks won that game yesterday. And they won. Apologies from the K family because I embarrassed myself and my entire lineage. I don't know what to tell you other than throw myself on the mercy of the court. Please forgive me. Please try to forget. But let it be a lesson, everybody. There are no sure things in life. Everybody, the old saying is nothing is guaranteed in life except death and taxes. The only thing that's guaranteed is death. You don't have to pay taxes. You can go to jail. It's an outdated cliche. Only thing sure in life is death. That's it. Taxes are not sure. People avoid them. No one I know yet has avoided death. I'm hoping to be the first one. I don't like my chances, but a guy can dream, right? A guy can dream. Now, if you're a Knicks fan, you're also dreaming about a young man who presently plies his trade in the beautiful city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. So Shams Charania yesterday saying that he does, in fact, want to be traded now, that the Bucks do, in fact, handle phone calls every day about it. So I've been reading up on some of the possibilities. The Heat supposedly are in big on this. Golden State would love to make a run at him. Minnesota would love to make a run at him. And Houston. So I was looking at all of these teams, and the Knicks want them. And boy, the Knicks are going to have to be awfully creative to get this done. Because every single team that I just mentioned can put together a better deal than the Knicks. The thing that's going to haunt the Knicks in this attempt to get Giannis is the trade for Mikal Bridges with the 5 first-round draft picks. So I don't know how the Knicks are going to get it done, especially because the Bucks don't want Cat. So the Knicks are going to have to spin around and trade Cat somewhere to get back some draft capital, which they could redirect toward Milwaukee. And then all the stories I'm reading in The Athletic, Cat makes so much money. And with the hard aprons that they have in the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, nobody seems to want Cat. Nobody seems to desire Cat. He's owed so much money over the next couple of years. And if you think that that's nonsense, if you're a max player now, you have to really be a max player like Giannis Antetokounmpo for a team to take you and push themselves up against the second apron. Because there are so many punitive damages that could take place if you're pushed up or over the second apron. And teams are feeling, listen, we'll take those punishments if it's a great player. I mean, look at what the Atlanta Hawks had to do with Trae Young. Nobody wanted him. It turned out to be a salary dump where Washington took him, but it was a salary dump. They got nothing back. That's what is going to be so difficult about this trade. And because the Knicks are up against the second apron, they've got to take back less than they give back. So the only way that works is if Cat's involved in the deal. But the question remains, who wants him? The best thing for the Knicks, I've said this over and over, give them some time to work on things. February 5th is fast approaching. I mean, you do the math. Monday is February 2nd. So February 5th is Thursday. Can they do the heavy lifting to get this done? And you look at Golden State. They could send Butler, Kuminga, Moses Moody, Brzezinski, and many, many picks. Would Milwaukee take that? Minnesota, Julius Randle, Naz Reid, and picks. And they'd also include Portland in that deal. So it'd be a three-way. Houston, they would build a package around Sengun. Reed Shepard, Dorian Finney-Smith, Brooklyn's 2027 first-round pick, which they own, which could be a very valuable pick, and other picks as well. But the Knicks don't have those picks to fling around. And they're going to have to include somebody else, maybe a couple of people. Deuce McBride might be on his way to Milwaukee if that deal is done. Would you part with OG to get the deal done? I don't think I would. I'd part with Mikal Bridges, but I don't think that Milwaukee would want him. I'm trying to figure it out. Again, Leon Rose and company are pretty bright. And I'm sure they're working the phones and drawing out scenarios that they could possibly get this guy. But the big impediment is Milwaukee doesn't want Cat. And the big impediment in getting the proper draft capital that you're going to need to make this deal work, who wants Cat? Who's giving up a lot for Cat? Who? That's where it becomes very, very tough. They're not trading Jalen Brunson for him. They want to team Brunson and Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo also does not come into this or out of this smelling all that great. Because Sam Amick, who covers the NBA for The Athletic, spoke to him late last year, like in December. And he said, I would never, ever, ever ask for a trade, ever. Well, he obviously has. Milwaukee's not just doing this because it wants to. You want to trade away a franchise icon who's already won a championship for you? No. He's forcing their hand. So the guy who said, I would never, ever, 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 ever do. I mean, he said it with a period after each word. Ask, that's not who I am. I guess that is who you are. And in this day and age in the NBA and in sports, if it's not going the way you want, you get out. I mean, Milwaukee has moved heaven and earth and made some ill-advised deals, including the Damian Lillard deal, just to make Giannis happy. But it's no longer a layup for them to be a championship contender, so he wants out. I don't like when that happens. It's a bad look. Harden did it with Brooklyn. Durant did it. A lot of teams do it. I give players credit. If they have the power and they want to get out, fine. But isn't it better to stay where you are and make it work there rather than get yourself in a ready-made situation and win a championship? But Giannis has had enough. 31 years old and probably thinks, well, how much longer do I have as an elite player? 4 or 5 years? And he doesn't see it happening in Milwaukee. Now, in the past, players would say, I'll make it happen in Milwaukee. I feel sorry for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a great town. It really is. If you ever get a chance to go there, it's great people. It's neat. It really is. And it's close to Chicago, so it's not like you're away from a big city. But they had to trade Lou Alcindor, who became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar They had to trade him in an awful deal for them. So they don't get to keep their great players. But they won a championship with Kareem and Oscar Robertson, and then they traded Kareem to the Lakers. And he also wanted to go to the Knicks, and the Knicks couldn't get the deal done. Well, Antetokounmpo wants to go to the Knicks, and as I said yesterday, one thing I would not do if I'm Milwaukee, I'm not trading him where he wants to go. I'm trading him to where I could get the best deal. But he does hold some power. He does hold some power. Let's say the best deal is from Minnesota. And he said, well, I'm not signing an extension with them. He has only 1 year left on his contract. So is Minnesota going to give up Randall and Naz Reid and draft picks for a guy who's going to stay 1 year? Now, it would be a glorious year combining him with Anthony Edwards. Maybe they do win a championship. Maybe they get out of the West. But he holds that power because whatever team puts a deal together is going to empty every single available asset at their disposal and send it to Milwaukee. Do you want to do that for 1 year of a player? That's the power that Giannis has. He has 1 more year left on his deal. Now, he'll say with the Knicks, I'll sign an extension. He might say with another team, I'll sign an extension. But teams he doesn't want to go to, he doesn't have a no-trade clause. But the no-trade clause that he has is, no, I'm not going to sign an extension. I'm not going to sign an extension. What are your thoughts? I mean, you have to feel good that the Knicks won that game yesterday. They move ahead of Toronto in the East. They tie with the Celtics, who lost to the Hawks yesterday. 1-800-919-3776. Started off with Lucas in Maine. It must be cold in Maine, Lucas.
Hey there, Mike. How you doing?
Good. How cold is it there?
It's pretty damn cold. I gotta say, I had to shovel about 16 inches of snow off the driveway. So,
wow.
Just this morning.
Stay safe.
But anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about this Giannis trade and what will have to happen. So Giannis is just going to completely change the game plan and the scheme of the Knicks. And you were talking about this a little bit yesterday with Tibbs, how they're trying to go back to what Tibbs was running. I mean, obviously, Cat is going to have to go in this trade, and Brunson will have to take a step back because Giannis is just a guy that will completely run the court and is kind of honestly a little bit of a ball hog. So you have all those changes that you have to make. Is that worth just having the year of Giannis?
Well, definitely not having a year. So I think with the Knicks, Lucas, he would sign an extension or he would commit to signing a new contract. The thing that I worry about it when you make a trade of that size, you've got to get this together by the time the playoffs start. And he's injured. He has a calf injury, and that's the outlier on this too, or the caveat of any deal that you make. 2 calf injuries this year. Does that lead to an Achilles injury? And then you've completely given away all your assets for a player who's not going to play next year. If that happens, you cross your fingers that it doesn't. If the Knicks make this trade, I want them to make this trade in the offseason. Give them time to gel. Give them time to come up with the right system. Not have to learn on the run. Not have to learn on the run. You make this trade, he comes here on February 5th. He doesn't play until, February 21st. You've essentially got a month and a half to get it right before the playoffs begin. And it's not just going to be Cat's out and Antetokounmpo's in. There are going to be other people that have moved on the Knicks. There are going to be other people. Let's go to Al in Maplewood. Al.
Hey, what's going on, Carlin? I just wanted to make a...
This is not Carlin. I'm so much more handsome than Carlin.
My fault.
Yeah,
so listen,
Al, that's an awful take by you, but please go on.
I was in the middle of parking in the snow, so I got a little flustered.
Brain
so
freeze, yeah.
Real quick. All right. So the tone that you took in regards to Giannis, it was a little unsettling for someone who stood with Milwaukee brick by brick when he's had opportunities to run and jump on ready-made teams in the past. I think that he's done everything and more for Milwaukee and the fans. He's been loyal. And like you said, he's at the age where it's like, okay, let him go. You know, he's made you know the organization and the community tons of money, and he just wants to finish his his career on a positive note. So I think it's very deserving of him. And
but Al, why can't he finish it on a positive note in Milwaukee? He's one of the top two players in the world.
Milwaukee is years away from being competitive. I mean, at least 5 years away. They got to start from the beginning, and they won't have that opportunity because by keeping him, they'll never be in the position to get good picks.
Well, you're making it seem, Al, that he's done charitable work. He's been paid a tremendous amount of money. He won a championship with them. They have moved heaven and earth to make this the right roster for him. Signed Miles Turner, made the trade for Damian Lillard, which exploded in their face, and they're eating all of that money. So it's not like he's done, altruistic stuff. He's gotten paid a lot of money and won a championship with them. It's been good for both sides. So now he's cashing his chips. Well, I don't think they're that far. It's not like Milwaukee wants to trade him. Milwaukee would keep him forever. Because as long as you have that great player, if you could find in the draft or if you make a trade of some sort and get that second great player, boom, you're a contender. That's how great this guy is. But he wants out. I'm not saying he's wrong because it's just like most players now. That's what they do. They don't want to suffer through the growing pains. They want a ready-made championship opportunity. That's what they want. Get me out of here. Get me to someplace where I can win rather than let me make this place win. But I guess his hands are clean of any blood because he did win a championship there. So he gave them what they wanted. But it's not a great look for a guy who has a great reputation and said he would never, ever, ever do this. That's not the way he is. Well, something changed, right? I guess that is the way he is. Eli in the Bronx. Eli.
Yeah, first of all, 3 points. As far as him going back on his word, you never know what happened over there. We don't know what happened. We can't judge a guy. We got to know the backstory. That's number one.
That's true.
Number two, you wouldn't throw OG in a deal to get the best player on the planet. Come on.
I would be reticent. I guess if that was the last thing to get it done, I'd have to. But would that be a big blow for the team? I mean, you're taking away their best defender. Right. OG's an unbelievable player. I mean, I think sometimes we lose sight of it. The trade they made with Toronto to get him was extraordinary. He is really important to what they do. I guess I didn't articulate it the right way. I'd much rather give up Bridges than OG. But if it took giving up OG to get Giannis, you're right, Eli. I'd give him up. But I would give him up, and I would grit my teeth because I think he's really important to what they do. Really important to what they do. And they'd have to change their defensive structure. He makes up for a lot of the mistakes they make. He makes up for a lot of the negatives of carrying Brunson and Cat. He is that good defensively. Long arms, quickness. He's everything you want in a great defender. So you don't just give up a guy. You try your best to make a deal without giving him up. Now, I don't know how he fits on Milwaukee. Probably doesn't fit on Milwaukee. If they're going to rebuild, what do they need OG Anunoby for? But he might fit the other way where he could gain interest from a team that would be willing to give up some first-round draft picks to get him, that think that he's the final piece of the puzzle. That's where it might work. That's where it might work. Our last time, by the way, that we have an opportunity to talk with Dan Orlovsky in his weekly segment. I mean, we'll talk to him if something breaks, but our last time is coming up in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. We'll talk some Super Bowl with him. Speaking of the Super Bowl, it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff. The final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel making sure you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, well, make it count. Because after the Super Bowl, the season's over and football is officially done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
ZipRecruiter.
You remember what it feels like to move without thinking about pain? To get up, sit up, walk, work, or live without that constant ache? If neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica took that away from you, it's time to get it back. I'm Bart Scott. Dr. J. Shaw at Sandwell Pain is the guy you need. Ivy League trained, double board certified, no surgery, no scars, no long recovery, just precise, image-guided, non-surgical treatments designed to get you feeling strong again. With offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood, and most major insurances are accepted, there is no reason to wait. Go to SandwellPain.com. Relief is closer than you think.
There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-50 2.5S Select with all-wheel drive for $179 for 33 months. Or buy with 0.9% APR financing for 72 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely, choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for lease details. VIN SN379853, MSRP $33,425. Zero security deposit, APR $14.27 per month per $1,000 finance, ends 2/2/26.
When it comes to meat and seafood, selection matters, and no one beats Wild Fork Foods. To everyday essentials, to high-quality steaks, to seafood and more, every product is blast frozen to lock in peak flavor and freshness, so you get restaurant-quality meats at home for amazing prices. Shop in person at 7 locations across Long Island and New Jersey, or you can order online for same-day delivery. It's easy, it's convenient, and the prices are wild. WildForkFoods.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a time out to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 50% off and everyday 0% financing. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends January 31st, 2026.
Rich Eisen here. Hiring for your small business can feel like a full-time job, but LinkedIn Jobs AI Assistant takes the heavy lifting out of it. It filters applicants based on the criteria you set and suggests 25 great fit candidates daily, so you can invite them to apply and keep things moving. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, 1:30 here on a Thursday. Time now for the Dan Orlovsky Report, brought to you by Boost Mobile. And our colleague and friend Dan Orlovsky joins us now. Hey, Dan, how you doing?
Hey, Michael, I'm doing fantastic. How are you, bud?
I'm doing well. We're not going to get a chance to talk to you next Thursday, so let's break down what you're feeling about the Super Bowl right now. Which way you leaning?
Yeah, I'm leaning Seattle. They're the better team. Seattle and the LA Rams are the two best teams in football for the great majority of the NFL season. As the playoffs play out, the NFC champion was the team that I thought would be the team that wins the Super Bowl. Obviously, that is Seattle. They're complete on offense. The offensive line's playing at a high clip. Quarterback's very confident right now. Offensive coordinator and play caller Clint Kubiak is in a rhythm. JSN's as good as any receiver that we have in the league, and the defense has been the best defense in football that doesn't dominate taking the ball away. You know, there's some defenses that are really good statistically, but because of turnovers. Seattle's defense isn't a massive turnover defense. They're just very good, and you have to be all over precision from a play calling, design, execution standpoint to have success a la Matthew Stafford and the Rams. And so New England's been great. Defense is playing at a very high clip, and I think it keeps them in this game. But Seattle's the better football team.
Do you think that, I mean, Drake May's had such a wonderful year. He's either going to win or finish second to Stafford in the MVP. But from my untrained eye, he does not look like he's been great in the postseason. Has he taken a step back? Have the defense caught up to him, or has he just felt the pressure of playing in bigger games each week than he's ever played?
No, I think the starting point is this would be statistically, by ranking, the hardest path a quarterback has ever had to go playing defenses-wise. The three defenses that he has played in the Chargers, Houston, and Denver are all three in the top six. And Seattle's one. So, I mean, we're talking about these 4 games, 4 out of the top 6 defenses in the NFL. So, I think that's the starting point is this is a gauntlet that he's had to experience from a quarterback and an offense perspective. 2, the reality is they've played in awful weather in all 3 of their games. The Chargers Sunday Night Football, I think, was like 10 degrees. Houston was brutal out when it comes to temperature and snow, and obviously Denver, they became awful in the second half. And then 3, this is the kind of the expectation of what this offense was going to be this season. I still believe, if we're being honest, and this isn't a hater, that they're above schedule. They're ahead of schedule in New England, and partly because they did have a softer schedule, and that helps them. And so this is probably a little bit more when it comes to the high-end teams of who they are in New England. And so Drake has struggled a little bit, yes. He's been situationally pretty good. The tight window throws, the accuracy have been tested more, and therefore the production has fallen off a little bit.
Now, there's a video that's out of the game in Denver where he's sitting there on the sidelines with McDaniels, and he's saying, my God, this is so tough. This is so hard. I'm paraphrasing. Does that concern you that he would articulate that, or is that normal?
No, I think it's normal. I think, there's a reality to that, Michael, when you're in it and you're like, yo, this is so hard right now. I actually like him saying that to the coach because then the coach has a little bit of information, right, of like, hey, where are we right now? And when you've got that banged up shoulder, when it happened, I tweeted that he just hurt his shoulder. You can just understanding quarterback play and whatnot, and obviously been around it. Right when he hit the ground and his right arm goes up to the right shoulder, I'm like, there's something in there. I don't know how extreme it is. And so the weather, there's a lot going on in there. And so, just because you admit it and announce it doesn't mean you're not tough enough to handle it, and I think he's a tough enough dude to handle it, obviously growing up the way he grew up. And so I think it gave Josh McDaniels, I think you saw Josh McDaniels, their play caller, call the game that way, of like, all right, we're in it right now. He's struggling. He's going to beat up a little bit. Like, I'm not going to expose him. And I think it's partly why they find a way to hold on and win the game.
Now, you're no doctor, but, it did come out that the shoulder was barking a bit. And if the Super Bowl was yesterday, maybe he doesn't play. You think he's going to be okay in 2 weeks or a week and a half?
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. He's a tough kid. There's some period of time. He obviously finishes the game. There's a period of time between title game and Super Bowl. I'm not a doctor again, but my guess is that has something to do with the pain tolerance. That's a total guess and assumption. There's a lot that you can do for pain tolerance, let alone be physically tough, but things that make that necessity of pain tolerance a little bit less. So, yeah, I think he'll be fine. As long as it's not a functionality thing. Like, Michael, most of us quarterbacks, we've done something to our shoulders, right? And so you figure out, okay, can you help the pain? Yes. All right, then I'll be good to go. As long as he can function, I think he'll play, and I think it will not be a negative impact on his ability to play.
Talking with Dan Orlovsky here on the Michael K. Show. So we talked about the mic that caught what Drake May was saying, and it's all famous years ago that, Sam Darnold said, I'm seeing ghosts out there when he was facing the Patriots. Yeah. Did you ever think that kid would turn into this guy?
Michael, you know me, my answer is yes. I have been mocked for years of believing in Sam Darnold. When he came out of school, I thought he was the best player in the draft at that position. I had coined he's got this magical sloppiness to his game, that there's just this raw talent that was there, but it was sloppy. And at times that sloppiness was really cool because he could make these crazy throws, and at times that sloppiness got him in trouble. And even in the midst of all the struggles in I remember when Zach Wilson was coming out, and me being like, are you sure you want to move on from Sam and draft Zach Wilson instead of trading that pick? And then obviously goes to Carolina. There was moments in Carolina where there was some good, and I thought him and Joe Brady would have a ton of success, and then bounces to San Francisco and then the Vikings, and I loved seeing his success and really just have believed in the guy. And I think his greatest quality is resiliency. He's just not allowed the struggles of early on in his career to break him. And that's a talent and that's a skill. And so I always believed in him. Yes, I'm super happy for him. It's about him, and it's a really cool story.
What happened, or how has he progressed from the quarterback that really got embarrassed in the last playoff game with the Vikings to this? Because he almost played a not say perfect, but he certainly played a beautiful game against the Rams.
No, I thought it was the best game of the season and certainly one of his career. Michael, if we're being honest about the fall off last year, and I remember being on with Stephen A. talking about this, yes, he fell short. There is no doubt about it in those two games. They also got destroyed on the offensive line. They got destroyed. And so the quarterback didn't elevate that. That's fair to say. And he definitely took a step back. But it was in part because the offensive line was just getting whooped in those two games. And so how was he different? How has he progressed? Is, one, that offensive line hasn't exposed him a ton. Two, he's playing with a defense that's been remarkable. So you can be really strategic about your decision-making. And I do think he's improved with his feet. Sam's thing has always been getting through progressions, listening to his feet, not getting stuck on things. And when we sat with him in Monday Night Football, I asked him what was the main focus this offseason. And his answer was, you only get so many opportunities per game in this league for big plays. You can't miss them. And so his huge focus was being perfect when it comes to, I've got a shot down the field. I've got to hit this shot. You're only going to get 3 to 5 of them. And that's the difference between good and great, win and loss.
Now, the Giants lost out on the guy that was supposed to be their offensive coordinator in Monken when he got the Browns job. Was that a big blow for them?
I think it's a huge blow. That was my biggest takeaway when I saw the news. It wasn't Brown-centric, it was Giants-centric. Oh, man, that's a huge loss because that was the ideal play caller for Jaxson Dart and one of the reasons why I was so happy about the Harbaugh hire. Does that mean that the next person can't do a good job or won't be exciting? I don't know who that person is going to be, so I don't know. But I do believe that this was, in the moment, a huge loss for the New York Giants. And so who's next on the list? Adam Schefter reporting, not me. Adam Schefter reporting, in his words, they're now scrambling. So that lends me to think that they were thinking Monken was coming and that there really wasn't this necessary, in their mind, a plan B. And so is it going to be Mike LaFleur, who's the little brother of Matt, who's the Rams offensive coordinator? Is it going to be Nate Scheelhaus, who's the Rams passing game coordinator? Is it going to be Davis Webb, who passing game and quarterbacks coach guy in Denver? We'll find out, but I do think, like, as of right now, that's a pretty big blow.
Joe Brady going to the Bills, was that the right move for them?
Yeah, he was the one person you couldn't let out of the building. After you moved on from Sean McDermott, I was adamant, do not let that guy out of the building. The track record for his offenses speaks for itself. The performance of the quarterback, the offensive line, James Cook, Josh Allen, all that, it speaks for itself. I also think that, there's a beauty in where you've been and the things that are good there and the things that maybe you think aren't good enough. And so having that intel, I do think has the chance to be a benefit. Aggression, that's what's going to be needed out of this organization to take the next step. Who is next defensive coordinator or who is defensive coordinator, I think, is going to be huge because, there's rumors that ex-New York Jet, Jim Leonard's at least high on their list. I love Jim Leonard. That would be two coaches in prominent roles in that organization that don't have a track record of head coach experience. That always gives me concern.
Final thing, and this is kind of a deep dive into the psychology of a football mind and a coach's mind. So you have said in the past, you've said to me on the show that you'd like to coach one day. You're a very active dad. You have young children. So then you read the comment by the head coach of the Seahawks, Mike McDonald, that he's so into preparation for these games that he sees his son for 30 minutes a week. Now, if somebody said to me, you can't see your kids all but 30 minutes a week because of your job, I would not have that job. How much of a sell-off? I mean, are you selling your family out to be a successful head coach? You read these stories of coaches sleeping on the couches, never coming home, all the divorces. Is it worth it, Dan?
I think for a select group of people, yeah. It's not everyone like that. It sounds like Mike McDonald is doing it that way. And maybe if they win it, there'll be a different process for him and he'll look at it differently. But to climb the top of the mountain, it takes what it takes. And everyone skins a cat differently. I think everyone goes through the journey of coaching differently. Michael, that's usually my response when people are like, why aren't you coaching? I'm like, I know what that life looks like. And so is it worth it? I think that's an individual answer. I was a kid that as a teenager decided to not live the life of the teenager. I didn't go to parties. I didn't hang out with certain groups of friends. I sacrificed a lot to achieve the dream of playing in the NFL. For me, if you ask me, was it worth it? The answer is unequivocally 100% yes. But that's not me being a parent, which is the greatest joy ever. And so I think that's all individualized. Some people dream about achieving that accomplishment and not being a dad or being a father. Some people dream about being a father and not having that accomplishment and they regret. So for me, it's not a life that I'm ready to make a commitment to, and I don't know if I ever will be.
Good stuff, Dan. Thank you for the whole year. We appreciate it.
You're a good man, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm honored.
All right. Thank you so much. That's the Dan Orlovsky Report brought to you by Boost Mobile. Don't overpay. Get unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month forever, for life, for real. Switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, you may experience slower speeds. Now, just to piggyback on that conversation, So Dan said that he gave up, a teenager's life, parties and stuff like that, so he could be an NFL player. And he was impacting Dan Orlovsky. But these coaches, I don't want to paint everybody with the broad brush. I don't know Mike McDonald. But you can't have it both ways. If you want to commit your life to being a football hermit, then why would you involve a family? Those are decisions that impact other innocent people. Is it right that his son's going to see him 30 minutes a week because he's preparing for the next football game? That's where I think it calls into question. I said this about my own life many times. I didn't get married till I was 49 years old. Never, because I was driving for something. And if I got married when I was 22, I would not have the Yankee gig. I wouldn't have this radio show because I would have made safer decisions because there were other people involved. So I could be selfish because the only one I was hurting was me. But once you get married, is that fair to the family to do that? And I'm not just talking out of my ear here. You see all these head coaches that end up getting divorced. So how does that impact their children as well? Just because they're so obsessed with winning. Maybe Tony Dungy had it right. He ended up winning a Super Bowl, but he would make sure that his coaches would go home at a certain time. I don't want you to miss it. Bruce Arians said, if I find out you missed a birthday party, graduation, I'm going to fire you. So as Dan said, there's several ways to skin a cat. But, boy, that got my attention when you see a young man like Mike McDonald say, I'm going to see my son for 30 minutes this week. 30 minutes. Is that fair to the kid? Certainly fair to the Seattle Seahawks. They're getting the best of Mike McDonald. But is the kid? We'll be back.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets, so go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
To the net. Score!
The New York Islanders are back in action with a brand new theme night schedule you won't want to miss. Bring your friends out for the holidays and take home a custom holiday replica jersey or arrive early for special bobblehead giveaway nights for Matt Barzell and Bo Horvat.
Barzell for Horvat, score!
Explore the full theme night schedule at NewYorkIslanders.com.
Hey, sorry I missed you. Your call is very important to me. Just not as important as the New Jersey Lottery's Green Ball promotion being back on Pick 3 evening drawings. See, if the green ball's drawn, that's a free second chance to win. So, yeah, you get it. It's only through February 1st, though, so try me after then.
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. For game odds and promotion details, visit njlottery.com/pick3.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Oh, I can't believe we blew a 5-touchdown lead.
Sure, but you got to feel like they were going to win for almost the entire game.
But I was about to buy playoff tickets.
So you were prepared for a good time. That's pretty nice.
It's the worst loss any team has ever had.
And you got to witness history.
Okay, we're done here.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Rich Eisen here. As you all know, I care deeply about pediatric cancer research and awareness. That's why I'm proud to talk about Hyundai Hope on Wheels. For over 27 years, every Hyundai sold has helped fund life-saving pediatric cancer research. Together with over 850 dealers nationwide, they've raised more than $277 million, supporting over 25,000 kids in their fight against cancer. At Hyundai, hope isn't optional. It comes standard. Visit HyundaiUSA.com and search Hyundai Hope on Wheels to learn more.
NBA fans don't just watch the game, they live it. So stream like you're courtside with NBA League Pass, your ticket to all the action. Watch your favorite team shine and catch the league's brightest stars and rising stars at the same time with multi-view on your favorite devices. From the plays you can't believe to the most live games and the drama that comes with it. If it happens on the court, it's happening on NBA League Pass.
Only select out-of-market games available. Blackout restrictions apply. Additional charges and other conditions may apply. Visit NBA.com/subscriber agreement for full terms and conditions.
Hey, Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m., Rangers host the Islanders at Madison Square Garden. Coverage begins at 6:30 right here on ESPN New York. 7 p.m., Devils host the Predators at the Prudential Center. Don will be on the call. At 9 p.m., the Nets are in Denver to play the Nuggets. That game will be on Yes. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go back to the phone calls. Let's go to Peter in Lawrenceville. Peter.
Hey, Mike. How are you? Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed the Giannis discussion. I have a lot of questions about whether it's the wisest idea to go after him. Number one, as you pointed out, he's an older player. Seems like he's been getting hurt more and more. And I have a lot of questions about Leon Rose's ability to build around him at this point. While he's undoubtedly done some good things and brought the Knicks to this point, he's also done some things that left the Knicks in a pretty tough spot, I think. So, yes, he traded for Hart, he signed Brunson, he traded for OG, but the trade for Bridges, you can't say that's really worked out very well at this point. The trade for Cat, the problems inherent in that are obvious by watching any Knick game. He hasn't drafted particularly well, so he did draft Deuce, give him that, but beyond that, not a lot of draft picks have been useful. A lot of teams with high-priced players have been very successful in signing useful contributors on two-way contracts. He hasn't really done that. He gave us 2 years with Elfrid Payton and Kemba Walker as starting point guards. So I'm not really all that comfortable in saying, like, we're at this point right now, but let Leon tear it down to get Giannis, a player who's always hurt, and I fully trust him to build it back to the point where they can win a title with that.
Well, I mean, if you're going to break down anybody who runs a team trade by trade, move by move, you can pick out some stinkers, Peter. The Cat trade worked out great last year. Great. They got to the 6th game of the Eastern Conference Finals. He was, what was he, 3rd team All-NBA? He had a tremendous year. I think they got further last year than they would have if they had kept Randall and Dante DiVincenzo. Yeah, he's made some bad moves, but I mean, when you look at the body of his work and what he took over, which was a dumpster fire, I would trust Leon Rose. The Bridges deal, it's only a bad deal now because you're thinking, wow, we could use those 5 draft picks, first-round draft picks, to get Giannis. But at the time, I thought it was an overpay, but Bridges is a decent player. He is what he is. He's supposed to be the 3rd or 4th option. It's a lot to give up for a 3rd or 4th option, 5 first-round draft picks, but they did because maybe they didn't think that Giannis was ever going to be available. And they didn't want the picks to die on the vine. My biggest concern with this is you're going to have to redo this team, especially if they make the deal by February 5th. You're going to have to redo the team. There's going to be holes on the team. If you have to include a guy like OG, and you have to include Deuce McBride, then you're going to be playing guys on the bench that you have deemed unworthy of playing now. Kolek's going to have to be a big player again. Clarkson's going to have to be a big player again. And will Giannis be going to the Knicks and have Jalen Brunson there, and would it be the same situation as the Bucks where it's just not enough? So he wouldn't be going to a team that's loaded per se. Now, if he goes to Minnesota and he has Anthony Edwards, that's a team that could win a championship. If he goes to Houston and he could play alongside Kevin Durant, and there are other players, even though they subtract Sengun, that's a team that could win. So he's going to have to look at it that way. I think if he goes to Miami, I don't think there's enough there to win with what they would have to trade for him. But if his intention is to get to New York, it's going to be interesting to see the holes that it creates on the team. Yeah, you're getting a great player, maybe the second best player in the NBA after Jokic, but will it be enough? But, I mean, to sit here and litigate every single move that Leon Rose has made and said, well, he I wouldn't trust him with that. Peter, what I would say is, do you forget where this organization was for 2 decades without Leon Rose? And you're talking about Kemba Walker, and they were trying to dig out of the abyss. So they were trying to fill holes. They were trying to roll the dice and come up with a great moment out of nothing. No, I'm on Team Leon Rose. Has he done everything perfect? No, but show me the GM that does. He's been much more good than bad. Much more good than bad. Speaking of GMs, Brian Cashman on a Zoom to talk about the signing or the re-signing of Cody Bellinger said some things that I'm sure infuriated Yankee fans. We'll break it down for the people when we get back right here on the K Show on ESPN New York.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
This Saturday on The Gary Myers Show, new Giants head coach John Harbaugh joins the show at 1 p.m. to talk about how he's going to turn around Big Blue. Gary will also preview Super Bowl 60 with Kansas City Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. It's all this Saturday at noon with Gary Myers on 880 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
More people trust their hearts to New York Presbyterian than any other hospital in New York. It's because New York Presbyterian has the most experienced cardiovascular doctors, treating a full range of heart conditions, from heart failure to valve repair, with the most advanced treatments. Find a doctor at nyp.org/heart. New York Presbyterian.
New York Presbyterian Hospital, based on U.S. News & World Report 2025 to 2026 cardiology, heart, and vascular surgery rankings.
Not all F words are bad. Some are actually great, like fast, free fiber for 4 months. Yep, switch to Optimum Fiber for as low as $25 a month. Plus, for a limited time, you can get 4 months free, HBO Max included for 1 year, and a 5-year price lock. Don't wait, this free fiber deal won't last long, and the fastest, most reliable, most consistent internet speeds await you. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com/free today. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-30 2.5S all-wheel drive for $189 for 33 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely, choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. VIN SM844-681, MSRP $29,075. Zero security deposit, ends 2/2/26.
Welcome back to Yeah, That's a Pepper Thing. First up, we've got Harrison wrapping his Dr. Pepper in a tiny quilt so it feels at home. Oh, how tender. That's a Pepper Thing. And over to Becca, who's whispering affirmations to her can.
You're sweet. You're unique. You're the best thing I ever poured over ice.
She swears it makes it taste better. It's not a science thing, but it's a Pepper Thing. Why do they all do it? All for that sweet, delicious, truly one-of-a-kind taste of Dr. Pepper. It's a Pepper Thing.
Do you know what to do if you're stuck on the railroad crossing? Get out of your vehicle. If a train is not approaching, find the blue and white emergency notification system sign on the traffic signs at the crossing. For help, call the number on the sign and give them the crossing number so they know your location and can alert train traffic. Remember, find the blue and white to save your life. For more information, visit oli.org.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. So Cody Bellinger had a Zoom phone call with the media yesterday, right after our show went off the air. It was at 3 o'clock. It was Cody and Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman. And Brian Cashman was asked about running back last year's team, and this is what the Yankee GM said.
It's not the same roster. I would differ there. You know, we have some players at some point returning from the IL that are important players, Garrett Cole being obviously one of them. But we've had some additions, from the second half that got their feet wet with the Yankees, some with success, some with failures or success. But, once they'll now be in a position to join us with their feet on the ground and getting their sea legs under them, with the manager, too, learning how to utilize these guys and where they slot and everything else.
Now, Aaron Boone on the perception that the team's running it back with the same roster.
We got beat up in the division round. It didn't go our way, but that doesn't mean it's not going to go our way the next time. Like, we think we're really good. It's a long ways away. Doesn't mean we're going to go win 94 games again. Doesn't mean we're going to win 88. But we think we have the pieces. We're going in with a lot of the guys that we brought in as kind of support pieces too, that we brought in at the trade deadline last year as reinforcements. We're going into the season with a lot of those guys in place. So I feel like our roster flexibility is better, night in and night out going in. Obviously we're going to have some people returning to the mix. We're so looking forward to getting Garrett back in the mix, and at some point in the first half of the season.
Now, let's talk turkey here, because I've tried to explain this to my listeners, and there's pushback. It becomes a word game. Okay, we're playing games with words. So from the team that finished in the second round of the playoffs and lost to the Blue Jays, you're running it back. And there's no crime in that because they really believed in that team. And Brian did go on later on to say, one bad series does not define what we are. Some people had bad series and we didn't win that. And, the Blue Jays ended up winning and going to the World Series. That's the way you answer it. Now, if you want to say the beginning of 2025 to the beginning of 2026, it's a completely different team. But it's hard to get around the running it back comment when you look at the team that finished and the team that's going to start. Yes, I know you're getting back Garrett Cole, and that's important. You're getting him back in June, and that's a big addition. He was not there last year. And you're getting a full season, health permitting, of Cam Schlittler. But the lineup's the same. Wells, Rice, Chisholm, when he gets back from injury, Volpe, McMahon, Bellinger, Grisham, Judge, and Stanton as the DH. You are running it back. So rather than fight the words, you are running it back. The answer should be, we're bringing back the same team because we think that team is great. We think that team, under the right circumstances, would be able to beat anybody and get to the World Series. That's the answer. But instead, fighting back against the perception that you're running it back when, in effect, there are differences. The team that ended the 2025 season is the team that you're starting with this year. Now, they changed their team completely, and I've told you this, at the trade deadline. And they could say that too. We made our major moves for 2026 at the trade deadline. We changed our bullpen. We brought in Bednar. We brought in Doval. We brought in Bird, who we think that he's going to be much better. And we had Matt Blake on the Hot Stove Show, and Matt Blake said, we think he was a little bit tired. And we've got some things work. So they think he's going to be a big part of what they do. So that was their recalibration. That's the way you should explain it, because if you explain it, well, we're not running it back, you kind of are. It's pretty darn close to running it back. Now, just look across the river, right? The Mets have completely redone their team. Completely. There's a new first baseman. There's a new second baseman. There's a new third baseman. You've redone the team. There's going to be a new left fielder. There's a new center fielder. That's not running it back. But when Aaron Boone writes out his lineup on the 25th of March in San Francisco, other than Caballero, who's filling in for an injured Volpe, that's the lineup that you finish the season with. And there's no shame in that. I don't think there's a shame in that. But I think rather than fight fans that could be irrationally angry about running back a team that had the most wins of any team, tied with the Blue Jays, in the American League, you're not going to win that fight. Again, the way to answer the question is, it's essentially the same team, and we're adding a Cy Young Award winner in June, and we love this team. We think this team is good enough to win it all. That's the answer. Not, we're not running it back. You are. It's the same team. It's the same team. Max Fried's going to start on opening day in San Francisco in all likelihood. Now, the differences are Schlittler for hopefully 32 starts. Cole for 24 starts if he comes back on June 1st. Those are the differences, but for the most part, is this not the same team as last year? Not the same team as the beginning of last year, but pretty darn close to the same team at the end of last year. So what did you think of Brian and Aaron's comments? 1-800-919-3776. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Bill in the car. Bill.
Yeah. Hey, Michael.
Yes, Bill.
Yeah. Hey, you were talking a few minutes ago about, I think, the Seahawks coach and how he's going to spend 30 minutes at home, I guess, leading up to the Super Bowl. Do you have any insight? What do these coaches do? This seems to be a stereotype with NFL coaches that literally they don't sleep. They sleep on the sofas at the practice facility. But what are they doing? There's so many coaches. Isn't there a point similar to economics where there's diminishing returns with all the coaching that goes on in the NFL? I'm just kind of curious. What are they doing at 3 a.m. when you got 20 coaches? What's going on?
I wish I had an authoritative answer for you, because I've never hung out with them. The only thing I could think is they're looking at reams and reams and reams of film, and they're trying to find some kind of advantage that they could outmaneuver the coach of the opposing team. I think a lot of it's theater. Look how hard I work. You can't tell me that you can't prepare your team and be home for 8 hours. Be at the facility, for 14 hours. Spend 2 hours, have dinner with your family. I mean, I've heard stories. A lot of these coaches that sleep on their couches, they sleep on their couches and they have guests there too, if you know what I mean. Again, it's a case of the powerful trying to get everything they want, have their proverbial cake and eat it too. Because there have been coaches that have won Super Bowls. Bruce Arians, who made sure that every one of his coaches went home at a decent hour, had dinner with their family. Because if you use your time wisely, you should not have to be at the facility 24 hours a day to get your job done. And if that's the way you think, then be a single man and don't ruin other lives. Just ruin yours. Just ruin your life. But once you're married, isn't there kind of like a covenant? I'm not just going to buy you a nice house because I make a lot of money as a coach, but I'm going to be your partner. I'm going to help parent. It's a hard one for me. I wish I could tell you what they do. I think a lot of it is, look at me, how hard I work. It's a joke. There's no need to be there 24 hours a day. Maybe you're not good at your job. Or maybe your perspective is completely skewed. The only thing I can think of, and check it out. Go look at the history of a lot of these coaches. Most of them get divorced. And why should the women stay there? They're getting a nice house, but they're not seeing the husband. He's out working. But a lot of the masters of the universe, that's how they roll. Well, I'm going to provide for you, but I'm not going to be here a lot. Well, okay, that sounds fun. Let's go to Rob on the Upper East Side.
Hey, Mike. Just wanted to get your thoughts back to the Cashman thing. It really feels like he's been burnt out for a long time now, just by his answers to the questions yesterday. A couple of arms from Miami and Colorado. One of those guys had a 7 ERA last year. The young pups never come up until their stock is, going down. So I just want to get your feel. Is Cashman burnt?
That's not true. I mean, Cam Slitler got them to the playoffs last year. Ben Rice was sometimes the young pups do actually contribute.
Well, they can contribute, but they're not calling them up until their stock is either plateaued or headed back down.
But that's not the case with Slitler and Rice. It's not.
Those weren't high-touted prospects. I mean,
in your
Slitler
mind.
was. Yeah, but I mean, Spencer Jones is now not on the top 100 prospects list. Dominguez has, almost no trade value at all. It just seems he's thrown, out against the wall to see what sticks, and it doesn't seem like Cashman is really putting in, the Grisham signing. That's a complete oversight. It seems like it might be time. What do you think?
Well, I think that it's according to, I don't think he's burned out at all. I mean, I had a long conversation with Brian a couple of weeks ago. He sounds energized and invigorated, and this is not a job that's too much for him. I think he loves what he does. So when you're saying it's time, you're thinking it's time because they haven't won a World Series. And we've had this argument over and over and over again. Every year they come into the season with a chance to go to the World Series. Some might say that's a well-run organization. And you can say, well, with all the money they spend, they should at least make the playoffs. Oh, okay. David Stern spent $340 million last year, and the Mets didn't make the playoffs. So money doesn't guarantee anything. He happens to put together a representative team every single year. And I think that Brian is very well aware of the stuff that's said on social media. And it probably bothers him, but since you're a representative of the organization, he can't say what Joel Sherman said. He might think it. He can't say it. These are your customers. These are the people that pay your salary. But you don't think that he gets rubbed the wrong way with it? You think he wants to hear people that do not have his area of expertise? I saw a guy on social media. I mean, has this guy ever picked up a bat? Who was he to make these decisions? Well, go look. He was a pretty good player at Catholic University, so he did pick up a bat, more than most of us could say. I'm not saying he's Chase Utley, but he was a pretty good infielder at Catholic University, so he has picked up a bat. I'm not sitting here to say what GMs actually played. In the old days it happened. Tell me the GMs out there that played the game. David Stearns, has he ever picked up a bat? He's considered one of the smartest. Andrew Friedman, did he ever pick up a bat? Considered the best. A.J. Preller. I mean, go on and on and on. So that's a silly argument. So no, I don't think it's time. If he continues to want to do it, and the Yankees continue to think that what they do every single year is somewhat successful, other than winning the championship, which is the ultimate goal, they're not pushing him out. I mean, what has he done or not done that would indicate that he's fried? Let's go to Ben in Tampa. Ben.
Hey, Michael, big fan, never called in.
Welcome aboard.
Watch every single game. But I just wanted to call, I'm in my mid-30s at this point, and I've never really been one of those where I've been calling for the firing of Cashman over and over again, but I feel like this is the first year, for the first time, I've almost reached it, not the end of the rope, but kind of getting a little bit exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't ever necessarily call for anyone's jobs directly. It's not something that you do. I'm not asking for that. And also not fully on board with ever blaming the GM for every decision they make. I think you just literally said it about Rose, right? You can pick apart everything. Anyone does, deal by deal.
Mm-hmm.
But some of it stuck out to me that you've said, and some others have said, right? If Cashman would be let go, there would be a line out the door to hire him, right? A bunch of teams would be looking to get to him. And I always kind of wonder, is that true at this point? I mean, from an expenditure profile, there's 4 other teams that spend like the Yankees.
Right.
And the only one that really has an outlying, end of the bell curve hire is the Blue Jays, like 10 plus years or whatever it is.
Right.
Dodgers, Mets, Phillies, they've all changed it up.
By the way, let me stop you for a second. I'll let you finish. The Blue Jay front office is going to get fired last year. They were gone if they didn't make the World Series. So they got themselves another 5 years from doing that. But the World Series that Brian went to in 2024 didn't get him any extra leash. But go on.
That's fair. Yeah. Well, point being is, the other 3 teams let's say exclude the Blue Jays, like you said, that's almost kind of buys into the point here is the other teams have switched it up, right? With the ones that spend like they do. So, like you said, at the end of the day, what else do you want? I mean, we're always in the playoffs, right? I mean, there's only one time in my life really I can look at that we didn't really make it,
right,
or have a decent shot. But I'm starting to get to the point where you see other teams that spend like the Yankees, and if it doesn't work, there's somewhat of a leash. And I think if you look at it historically, again, I mean, Brian Cashman's it's almost 30 years. It's almost been my entire life. Is it really, it's an outlier. And at some point,
I'll give you that. It's an outlier. But
so I guess
I've said this in the past, Ben, right? That if the Yankees let him go, there would be a team that would hire him. Now Brian's getting older, so Brian is I think he's 57. I really still believe that a team would reach out. I mean, that doesn't mean if you're the Yankees and you don't like the job he's doing, you don't have to worry about if somebody's going to hire him. Like the Giants didn't worry that Brian Dable was going to be hired if they fired him. You move on from what you believe in. But I do believe that there would be a team that would jump on him. He's that well respected within the game.
Understood.
But if you're a Yankee fan and you've been raised to think the Yankees are about winning championships and they haven't won one since 2009, I get it. That's why I never fight back about that. I can't. I mean, the facts are the facts. They have not won a World Series since 2009. And you go back to 2000, that was the last one they won before that. So they've had one championship in 25 years. So if that upsets you, and you're not satisfied by the fact that every year they have a chance, then how can I argue with you? People have their own value system. So if the fact that you go to Yankee Stadium at any time during the year and you can see a great game where a team, every single time they take the field, has a chance to win, and every year they have a chance to go to the World Series, if that's not enough and it's only about the World Series, then yeah, I get it why you hate them. I get it. But I don't think that that's how all GMs are evaluated. You talk about, you look at the beginning of Andrew Friedman with the Dodgers. They failed and failed and failed. They finally broke through in 2020 in the COVID year and won a championship then. And then they kept failing and failing, but now they've won 2 in a row, and he's looked at as a genius. So he had a long leash. I know Yankee fans don't want to hear it. I know you don't, and I'm sorry. I'm just telling you what the thought is in Major League Baseball. There is not a team in baseball that doesn't look at Brian Cashman and say, that's the gold standard. That's up there with Friedman. That's up there with what Billy Beane used to be with Moneyball. That's up there with the best GMs in the game. There's not a team that doesn't think that way. Yankee fans, because you live it every day, the problems in your home are bigger in your mind than the problems the family next door across the fence. And I get that because your family is the most important thing. So the Yankees are that's your major worry. And you say, well, we haven't won a championship since 2009. I can't debate you on that. Let's go to Manny and Edison.
Hey, Michael. So I'm glad that you kind of agreed with us because Brian Cashman must think that we're blind fools. So I go into the office today, and the first thing a friend of mine says to me is, Cashman says that we have a different team than the last year. And I look at him, and I'm just like, what does he think that we're looking at? And my fear is going to be the same thing. When we make it to the playoffs, it's going to be home run or nothing. We don't have guys that are getting on base. And at that point, what's going to be his excuse? But don't lie to us. I would have been better with him saying, we like the team we have. We'll see what it's like at the deadline, and we'll go from there. But I'm sticking with this team that we have, that we've had for a year now. I would have preferred that and probably been upset, just because it is the same team that didn't win much. But I would have preferred that and respected him more as opposed to him saying it's a different team.
Well,
the only thing that's going to be different is
to,
the bullpen.
The bullpen's different as of the trade deadline, and they didn't want Devin Williams back, and they didn't want Weaver back. So that's a change from last year. But when you say you're not running the team back, I mean, when you look at the starting nine, you're running the team back. That's the team.
Agreed.
And I think, Manny, it becomes a game of semantics. So Brian probably could have saved himself some angst by saying, yeah, it's pretty much the same team. I mean, we added Weathers. We're going to get Cole for the whole year. We're going to get Schlittler, or we're going to get Cole back. We're going to get Schlittler for the whole year. But, yeah, it's the same team. And you know why? Because we think it's great. We think we stubbed our toe against the Blue Jays, but we think it's a great team. I think you'd get less pushback than to say, well, we're not running it back. When you look at the lineup on opening day against the Giants, it's essentially the same team other than Volpe being injured and Caballero is going to be starting. It's the same team. Now, it's not the same team from opening day 2025 when Jazz Chisholm was at third and DJ LeMahieu was at second and Paul Goldschmidt was at first. Yeah, completely different team than the one that started last year, but kind of a similar team that the one that finished this year. Kevin in New Jersey. Kevin.
Hey, how's it going, Michael?
Hey, Kevin.
I'm all right. I just wanted to touch on a point where everyone's just kind of saying fire Brian Cashman, which makes absolutely no sense to me because just say hypothetically the Yankees were to terminate Brian Cashman, he would have a job by day's end. Brian Cashman is such a great GM, in my opinion. I just don't see that whole ordeal with everyone saying fire Brian Cashman. He's making all these trade moves, and they're saying he's dumpster diving. I just genuinely think Yankees wouldn't make moves just to make moves. They see potential in these kids. They see something that they know they can make adjustments to and potentially make something out of them. But I just think we're speaking too early to make these assumptions that we're just going to be a dumpster fire of a team.
Well, I mean, Kevin, they lost in the second round last year. They were not a dumpster fire of a team. They tied with the again, I repeat the same thing. I must sound like a broken record. They won 94 games. I think the Milwaukee Brewers are the only team that won more games than them last year. So, listen, I'm of the opinion that if Brian didn't have the Yankee job, he'd have a job in a second if he wanted to. Maybe he ends up walking away. He's done this high pressurized job for over 30 years. So maybe when he's done here, he's done. Maybe. But I also say that's not the reason you keep him. If you think that he's run his course, even if somebody's going to hire him the next day, then look at the Ravens, right? The Ravens felt they went as far as they could go with John Harbaugh. And they realized that he was going to have a job at whatever of the 9 teams that had openings in a moment. And he got a job. He got a top flight job. That's what would happen with Brian. But Steve Bisciotti didn't care. But the Yankees still value the job that Brian Cashman does. And there were some limitations. I mean, the Yankee payroll is going to be $330, which is the 3rd highest payroll in baseball, behind the Dodgers and the Mets. So those that say Hal's cheap, you're also going to say, well, according to the revenue, they don't spend. Well, again, those are internal accounting things that I can't even speak at the right level on. So there were some limitations of what Brian could do because of some of the contracts that he has on the payroll, which he brought in. So they were over last year's payroll already by re-signing Bellinger. They're over it. And $330 should get you a team that's good enough to win. But I know what Yankee fans are thinking. Well, you got to spend like the Dodgers, got to spend like the Mets. They're not going to do that. The Dodgers are on a different level right now because of the money they make from the Far East because of Yamamoto and Ohtani. The Mets are funded out of the pocket of Steve Cohen, who has admitted that the team loses money on the revenue that it creates and the money that's spent to run the team. So he's lost $350 million over the last couple of years. That's out of his pocket. I don't think the Yankees are going to do that, and nor should they have to. $330 should be enough. That's why it wasn't a wholesale change. And I've told you this a million times, everybody. They really liked the team last year. I would sit on the bench at the end of September with Aaron Boone talking privately, and he said, this is the best team we've ever had going into the playoffs. That included the one the previous year that went to the World Series. That's how much they loved that team. So you think they fell out of love because they got boat raced by the Blue Jays? Well, it happened, and it happened during the season. But they believe in that team. It's not like they're bringing back a team they don't believe in just to save money. They're bringing back a team that they really did believe in, that they felt didn't perform up to its capability. Talk more about this. Also some more Bill Belichick revelations when we get back right here on the K Show, rolling till 3 on ESPN New York.
Thursday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Have the Knicks put their worst days behind them?
Anunoby, the long rebound, outlet for Bridges, lays it up and in. Bridges' big night continues. Give him 30.
It's my teammates, man. Just feeding off the energy from everybody on the court, everybody on the bench.
Will they still look to make a big move at the trade deadline? And where will Artemi Panarin wind up? Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
When a trophy is raised, it can feel like the season's over. But on the ESPN app,
It never really is. Because with more than 47,000 live events, plus originals, highlights, and coverage from every corner of the sports world, there's always something to dive into. No off-season, just everything a fan needs to keep going. Always in season. Get all of ESPN all in one place. Download the ESPN app on your TV or phone today.
Not sure what or who to bet this weekend? College basketball, NBA, soccer, hockey. What about horse racing? Well, The Wiz has you covered. Tune into the Fine Line Saturday at 8 a.m. as The Wiz talks totals, prop bets, money lines, and best bets. Plus, The Wiz talks about the big game. Who you got? Seattle or New England? Follow The Wiz on Instagram at Joe Wiz Sports. It's the best bet in town. The Fine Line with The Wiz Saturday at 8 a.m. Be ready to win.
This is Rick Brunson, the assistant coach from the New York Knicks. I'll be driving to our games this season in style in my new Jeep Gladiator from Princeton Jeep. My friends at Princeton Jeep gave me all-star treatment, and you can expect the same thing. Just mention I sent you, and they'll treat you like family. Princeton Jeep has tons of inventory and great deals on new vehicles. Visit Princeton Jeep at 1045 State Road in Princeton, New Jersey, or online at PrincetonJeeps.com and tell them Rick Brunson sent you.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Hey, sorry I missed you. Your call is very important to me. Just not as important as the New Jersey Lottery's Green Ball promotion being back on Pick 3 evening drawings. See, if the green ball's drawn, that's a free second chance to win? So, yeah, you get it. It's only through February 1st, though, so try me after then?
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. For game odds and promotion details, visit njlottery.com/pick3.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang! It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Talked a lot about this yesterday. Belichick not making the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. So 50 votes, you have to get 40 of them, 80% to get in. Now, we talked about the skull and bones nature of the voting, the secrecy, the fact that you have to make presentations about these players, and there's like bartering, and you can only vote for 3 of the 5, and there's a lot of limitations. So we still don't know all of the 11. But one of them came forward, and his name is Vahe Gregorian, longtime writer, football writer for the Kansas City Star, and he wrote a column explaining why he didn't vote for Belichick. And he said, first off, Bill Belichick is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I did not vote for him because of the suspension or anything like that. I didn't vote for him because there are certain guys, veterans, that were not going to be on the ballot the next time this comes around, and I wanted to make sure they had a chance. So he chose, his final decision came down to giving Ken Anderson, the quarterback from the Bengals, the vote over Belichick because Anderson probably is not going to be on the ballot the next time. It's a convoluted system that definitely has to be overhauled. But what I would say to Vahe, who at least had the courage to defend not voting for Belichick, okay, I understand how tough it is to navigate the limitations they put on you as a voter, But it has to come down to this, Vahe. Ken Anderson or Bill Belichick? Who is the one that's better at his job? And Ken Anderson was a good quarterback, really good. Borderline Hall of Famer. Bill Belichick's not a borderline Hall of Famer. Might be the greatest coach of all time. So it's not your job to save Ken Anderson. It's your job to vote for the best three guys that you could vote for. And one of those three has to be Bill Belichick. So I give you credit. It wasn't about Spygate. It wasn't about Deflategate, anything like that. But it was about saving Ken Anderson over Bill Belichick. I don't like voters, and even in the baseball writers, in the Baseball Hall of Fame, that vote strategically. Well, this is the guy's last time on the list, and I want to make sure, or I don't know if he's going to get the requisite 5%, so I give him a vote, and I'm not going to give a vote to, let's say, Andrew Jones. Well, what if everybody thought like you? Andrew Jones would be off the ballot then. So stop playing games, strategic games. It's not Battleship. You sunk my battleship. You have 5 guys at the end to choose from. You have to pick 3 of them. Pick the 3 best. Don't give a strategic vote. So at least Gregorian comes out and says, I didn't vote for him, here's why. We're the other 10 to defend their vote. And one other thing. So Belichick got zapped for Spygate. Lost a first-round draft pick, $500,000 fine. Did not miss a game coaching. What's going to happen when Sean Payton comes up for ballot? He gets suspended for a year for Bountygate. What's going to happen when Tom Brady comes up for ballot? He got the advantage of all those great spy tapes that told Bill Belichick all these things where he could beat a team. He was the one who was suspended 4 games for Deflategate. The greatest quarterback of all time. Is he not going to be voted in on the first ballot? What a joke. Now, Bill Baholian, it comes out, the Hall of Fame came out and said he did vote for Bill Belichick. And he never, ever made a speech saying he deserves to sit out 1 year as punishment for Spygate. So a lot of the stuff that's coming out turns out not to be true. But it is coming out. I mean, Bill Baholian did come out and say, I think I voted for Belichick. I'm 95% sure. How could you not be sure? That calls into question. Also, there are guys that have been on that committee for 25, 26 years. Don't you think you should kind of recycle and get fresh blood there? Is it a Supreme Court justice assignment? You get it forever? They did the impossible. They made Bill Belichick a babyface. They made him the relatable guy. They made him the sympathetic figure. A guy who's dour and nasty in front of the camera and all that. They made him likable. Because he seems like he's the one who got rooked this time. And he did. He did. Let's go to Andrew in Long Island. Andrew.
Hey, Michael. How are you today?
Good. How you doing, Andrew?
Good, thank you. I'm going to talk about the Yankees, but me and you talking about Belichick. You know, It's a shame. Belichick and Eli Manning both getting rooked right now with the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
But on to the Yankees. Listen, I'm not going to argue with Cashman. He's been terrific over the years. Boone does a terrific job. 94 wins. You can't argue with it. Tied for first. But the problem, I think, is with the Yankees is getting on base. And I think the reason for them not getting on as base as much, Michael, is to live and die by the home run ball. I know a lot of people argue it, but a good example right here that's going to give is Austin Wells. He had an 11.4 walk rate, which is very healthy, and that sank to a 6.7. And he went from 13 homers to 21. My question is, and Dominguez and Volpe, they always got on base in the minors. My question is it really worth the home run ball just to touch the – I mean, you're not really improving by much with the home run. You're losing out on walk rate. That's so important to get on base and in the playoffs.
But you're talking about
you can't go up against good pitching in the playoffs expecting a home run.
The walk rate, Andrew, is extraordinary. Led by Judge with a .457 on-base percentage. Grisham, 348. Ben Rice, 337. Bellinger, 334. Giancarlo Stanton, 350. Goldschmidt, 328. It keeps coming down to this, and nobody wants to believe that. They scored the most runs of any team in baseball, and you keep decrying the home run. Check out all the postseason winners. All the teams that win in the postseason, they out-homer the other team. Now, if you want to make the case they strike out a lot, okay, you can run with that. That's a legitimate beef. But don't say they don't get on base. They get on base a lot. They get on base a lot. Their WRC, wins and weighted runs created plus, 19% better than the league average. Team's overall batting average was 251. 251 when Major League Baseball hits about 240 as a league. I mean, really, what are we doing? The bottom line is, how do you keep score in sports? Points in football, points in basketball, goals in hockey, and runs in baseball. Who scores the most runs? The Yankees scored the most runs, and they hit the most home runs. So their offense is effective. Could it be better if they didn't strike out as much? Yes, but don't tell me about on-base percentage. Austin Wells had a bad year last year. He's got to pick it up. He knows that. He did not have a good year. So he's got to be better. But it wasn't because he's trying to hit home runs. He just had a bad year. But don't tell me they don't get on base. How do they score the most runs of any team in baseball if they don't get on base? And then I always hear, well, they leave a lot of guys on base. When you have so many guys on base, you're going to leave guys on base. But if you score the most runs, then what do you have to complain about? That they leave the most runners on base. Now, it's a different story in the postseason. I get that. But you can't say they don't have a good offense or they have it's dead at the bottom of the order. The most runs in baseball. That's all that counts. That's how you keep score. Joe in West Harrison. Joe.
Mike, how's everything going? Hope
Hey,
all
Joe.
things well.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to piggyback to the last caller. Yes, they scored the most runs and their on-base percentage. What I would like to see, and I'm not saying it's going to put them over the top, but the guys like Grisham or even Chisholm, go the opposite way. Play small ball once in a while when it's really needed. It just seems like in big spots, they're not even making contact. And I know what you just said. I totally agree with you. The amount of runs they scored was tops in the league. But it just seems like when they come up in the big spot, they just strike out a lot. And I would just like to see more of them go in the opposite way and start trying to hit home runs. That's my point of view.
But Joe,
Yes, sir.
you're watching the games, and you accentuate the times that they don't come through. So they're striking out a lot. That's not true in the regular season. They lead majors in home runs and runs scored. That's how you keep score. You want guys to go the other way. Jazz was 30-30, and he essentially missed 2 months. Grisham hit 34 home runs. You want him to go the other way. This is not a sport where they go the other way. Could they strike out less in the postseason? Yes, but that might rob them of home runs too. That's where they run into trouble, because in the postseason you're facing the best pitching, and a really great pitcher is most of the time going to get out even the best hitters. So you'd like to be able to create runs, but you cannot complain. I'm sorry. I know people get angry about it. You have no complaint about their regular season offense. They won the most games in the American League. They've scored the most runs in the major leagues. They hit the most home runs in the major league. How are you complaining? They should go the other way. That doesn't make sense. That's the one thing they do better than any team is hit home runs and score runs, and you want them to change their way. Now, if you want to make the argument, I keep repeating the same thing, that tact is not working in the postseason, we could have that discussion. But when I have that discussion with Boone, he tells me the teams that win in the postseason hit the most home runs. And he's right. I looked it up. He's right. And percentage of runs scored come via the home run in the postseason more than during the regular season. Because the pitching is so tough in the postseason, you're not going to string together 5 hits. Your best chance is a walk and a home run to get 2 runs. But, you're watching games and you're accentuating. Aaron Judge strikes out a lot too. 457 on base percentage, 331 batting average, and over 50 home runs. Would you change anything about him? Gee, I wish he made contact more and went the other way. Why? He's the most valuable player in baseball. You want him to change the way he does it? You want Giancarlo Stanton to go to right field to pick up some singles? I don't get it. Everybody seems like they've formulated this thing that's wrong with the Yankees, and they're wrong about it. In the regular season, you're wrong about it. This offense clicks all the time in the regular season. I don't know how much better they can be. Well, but the bottom of the order is weak. They scored the most runs in baseball. That's it. Period. End of discussion. That's what you try to do. The team that scores the most runs usually wins the most games. It's how they keep score. It's how they keep score. Last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, well, make it count. Because after the Super Bowl, the season's over. Football is officially done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? SafeStep walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. SafeStep walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. SafeStep walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
This Saturday on The Gary Myers Show, new Giants head coach John Harbaugh joins the show at 1 p.m. to talk about how he's going to turn around Big Blue. Gary will also preview Super Bowl 60 with Kansas City Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. It's all this Saturday at noon with Gary Myers on 880 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
New year, new season, same goal. Feel good and stay in the game. But if neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica is holding you back, it's time to handle it. I'm Bart Scott, and I'm telling you to call Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain. Dr. Shaw is an Ivy League trained, double board certified, and he specializes in getting people back to living pain-free. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical, image-guided treatments that work. Same day or next day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. Stop playing through pain. Go to SandwellPain.com. Relief starts today.
Not all F words are bad. Some are actually great, like fast, free fiber for 4 months. Yep, switch to Optimum Fiber for as low as $25 a month. Plus, for a limited time, you can get 4 months free, HBO Max included for 1 year, and a 5-year price lock. Don't wait, this free fiber deal won't last long, and the fastest, most reliable, most consistent internet speeds await you. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com/free today. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
Looking for the best meat and seafood at unbeatable prices? Get to Wild Fork Foods. They offer the widest selection of meats and seafoods you'll find anywhere. Everything is blast frozen to lock in flavor and nutrients. From beef and poultry to seafood, pork, and even exotic and game meats, you'll get the best value for your buck. Visit one of their 7 locations across Long Island and New Jersey, or order online for same-day delivery at wildforkfoods.com. Wild Fork Foods, your neighborhood's meat and seafood market.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Welcome back to Yeah, That's a Pepper Thing. First up, we've got Harrison wrapping his Dr. Pepper in a tiny quilt so it feels at home. Oh, how tender. That's a Pepper Thing! And over to Becca, who's whispering affirmations to her can.
You're sweet. You're unique. You're the best thing I ever poured over ice.
She swears it makes it taste better. It's not a science thing, but it's a Pepper Thing! Why do they all do it? All for that sweet, delicious, truly one-of-a-kind taste of Dr. Pepper. It's a Pepper Thing!
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We have a guest in studio here. I'll tilt the camera. Yeah, there's Butter. Little face is getting all gray. She's 5 years old, my little buddy. She loves to listen to the show down here. So welcome, Butter. 1-800-919-3776. It's amazing the hate that Brian Cashman gets. And I know that hockey is not as popular as baseball. It's popular, but not on the same level as baseball. Chris Drury sent out 2 letters essentially giving up on seasons on teams that he built. Fired coaches. He's going to trade Artemi Panarin, one of the favorites of Ranger fans. I never hear a word. Not a word about how bad he is. But Brian Cashman, whose teams go to the playoffs every single year, he's the Antichrist. It's hard to figure out. It really is. It really is. I guess people are held to different standards. Let's go to John in New Haven. John.
Mike, I
Hey,
want
John.
to just point something out in the Cashman so-called argument, and you keep bringing it up also. The Yankees led the league in runs scored and so forth, and the Yankees are built, though, to win over 162 games, but he has not built that club over the last 20 years really to win in the playoffs. But the point I want to really make is that I figured it out at the end of the year, because I knew it was going along this route. The Yankees last year, they played way under 500 baseball against the good teams.
It's not true.
in baseball.
Their record against 500 teams or better. Their record against 500 teams or better is
Their
exactly
record
500.
was awful against teams over 500.
No, you're not listening to what I said. Their record against teams 500 or better is 500. That's exactly what you want to do, and then you beat up on the bad teams.
No, it wasn't, Mike.
Yes, it was. It was exactly 500 on teams 500 or better. You're thinking they had a terrible record against the Blue Jays and the Red Sox.
I don't see that at all. They were under 500.
They were not.
I think you're wrong on that. I'm talking about teams
I'm
that
not
were
wrong on it.
500 or better.
They're against teams 500 or better. They're a 500
Yeah.
team. They don't beat up on them, and they got beaten up by the Blue Jays. I love that too. So you're going to choose how you get your wins. Doesn't matter how you get to 94 wins. Get there. Now, the best thing you said, should they build the team differently for the postseason? Well, I don't exactly know what you would do. But, yeah, they have not been as successful in the postseason. But Yankee fans do forget, and I'm going to hear the same thing over and over. Yeah, but it was easy against Central Division team. They got to the World Series 2 years ago. So how god-awful are they? They won a series last year in the postseason. They beat the Red Sox. And then they lose to the team that eventually went to the World Series and should have won because they were better than the Dodgers in that series. But you're acting like they fell on their face. Let's go to Dylan in Idaho. Dylan.
Hey, Mike, I love that last caller. He's presented with the facts, and he's just, typical Yankee fan like I am, delusional. So can we stop taking Jack Curry's words as gospel? I mean, the first Hot Stove episode was all about how Jack Curry says Cody Bellinger isn't even, like, the Yankees aren't even really looking at him. They're going to go under $300 million, and lo and behold, Hal is spending over $330 this season. Curry doesn't seem to have the facts that everybody thinks he does.
Well, see, I would gently push back on you. I was on that show. He never said they were not interested in Bellinger. He did say, he repeated what Hal Steinbrenner said, that he said in an ideal world they'd be under 304. And we've also said, but in all likelihood, they're not going to be under 304. In fact, they're $24 million over 304. So they will be paying the top tax and get all the penalties as well. Listen, I mean, you might be the one person on earth that doesn't like Jack Curry. Because when it comes to the Yankees and information on the Yankees, Jack Curry is more clued in than anybody. He's told you who they have not wanted. He's told you they're not in on guys, and they weren't. He told you they have no interest in Pete Alonso, and they didn't. He told you everything that happened. I've been on the shows with him. He's told you everything that was going to happen. Everything. That their one major move was going to be to try to get Cody Bellinger back. He told you they weren't interested in any of the starting pitching free agent-wise when it was out there that they were. And he's been right. So, I mean, you're the one guy, and I'm sitting next to him. He never said that they have no intention of bringing back Bellinger. And he said that Hal Steinbrenner said in an ideal world, they'd be under 304. That was the owner who said that. That was a quote. That not Jack Curry taking it out of the air. Big show tomorrow. Back again at 1. That's the rules of engagement, 1 to 3. Fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. Coming up, Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you tomorrow at 1.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your knowledge to work on the events that matter to you. Prediction Markets isn't just sports. It's the Fed rate decision, your favorite award show, and so